say in, a little time to say it in. But anyway, this music had young people basically just killing themselves and worshiping the devil and just basically calling the devil's name out. We went in high school, kids would come to school with the Satanic Bible, and this music would have all kinds of vicious pictures and graphic pictures on the CD covers and all this, and I mean, it was just a mess. I remember watching, and my mom had it on videotape, we watched a special on 2020 about the effects of heavy metal music, how it was causing people to kill and all this. So even the country acknowledged this big move of the enemy. Holy Spirit came to me a little while after that and said, spoke to me and said, Craig, this is not pleasing to the devil. I said, what do you mean, Lord? He said, the devil is not satisfied with this because, and he didn't really say it like this, but I'm going to say it so y'all can understand it. The brothers ain't down with heavy metal. Black folk ain't liking that. Am I right? The majority don't like that heavy metal. In concert, they biting bats' heads off on the stage. Now, brothers ain't finna fool with no bat. To us, that's a flying rat. A wing rat. We done had our days with rats. Pay money in the concert, we get rats. Some of us got them free at the house. Finna fool with no bat. All that jumping off the stage and getting caught by the audience. Now, we ain't gonna trust nobody like that. So, we just wasn't gonna get with the heavy metal. But God began to tell me something and I could tell even by the way the Lord began to put it in me. And I mean, when he put it in me, y'all, and one thing you gotta understand about a calling from God and all this whole thing, and I was telling Minister Herman that it's so in me until it just, when I see something about hip hop or different things, it just disturbs me because he actually just opened me up and put it in me, how he feels about what's going on. And I feel it. But he began to tell me that there was something coming that was getting ready to rock this nation. It's going to be worse than a bomb, but it was going to create a bunch of young people that were going to totally defy order. Churches would begin to embrace it, and the whole world would be rocked by the impact of it. And what the enemy was getting ready to do was something that he had been planning way back in Pharaoh's day, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about that, and way back in the Zulu nation and in Africa, I'm going to tell you a little bit about that a little later. But he began to prepare something to catch and captivate the minds of America and pull them straight into his own belly. And that form of music that he was forming was what we know as the hip-hop culture. And at the time, it seemed a little unbelievable because God began to tell me how the black youth would begin to actually worship the devil. How church youth would actually worship the devil. How grown church folks would actually begin to worship the devil. And I just couldn't believe it. I said, I don't know how this is going to happen. I just can't see it. Because, brothers usually, when it comes to the devil, some of us did some stuff. But whenever the devil himself got involved, we kind of backed away. Remember that? You'd be riding by a church, drinking a beer or something, and then when you get to the church, you pour it out. Oh, Lord. That warped sense of whatever it was. We just were scared of the devil, Even though what you was doing was from the devil, but it wasn't as devilish as some other. Y'all know how we thought when we was in the world, So I just couldn't see it, but I remember printing up some brochures. I think the young lady who printed up the brochure that our group had, we was passing it out, trying to let people know what was getting ready to happen, and people just didn't believe it, and we sounded crazy ourselves, but I just knew what God had told me. And I'll never forget, I guess around 1993, maybe 1992, 1993, I'll never forget. I remember sitting at my mother's apartment at the time, and I remember she had cable. And, you know, I was flipping through the channels, and there was this cable channel. A channel on cable used to be called The Box. Y'all remember that? You could actually dial and order a video, you know, if you was paying for the cable. You know, you wasn't paying for the cable, you was at the mercy of the paid customers. So you had to sit there and just watch whatever video came on, you know. But they had this cable. Can I just be real tonight? Y'all loosen up a little bit now. Come on. And I remember flipping through the channels one day, and I landed on The Box, Brother Tony, and I looked at The Box, and there was a video that popped on, and it was by a group called Almighty RSO, which now they're called the Made Men, and I don't even remember the name of the song, but the Holy Spirit just told me to sit there and watch it, you know. And I know, you know, at the time I was like, what is this? It looked kind of strange, and I remember seeing one of the brothers had a flat top. You remember the flat top? Some of y'all still got it, you know. It wasn't a joke. See, y'all not laughing at the jokes. Y'all laughing. But I remember the brother had a flat top, and in the back of his head, he turned around while he was rapping. You know how they do, you know. You know, you can't you really can't understand what they saying. I think that's why it's so popular, because they can say stuff you can't understand. But they's rapping, you know, and doing their thing, you know, and I'm like, you know, what is this, you know? Brother turns around, and in the back of his flat top, he had 666 cut in his head. A brother. Look at your neighbor and say, a brother. Now that scared me, because, you know, we don't play with the devil like that. I said, oh my goodness. The Holy Spirit spoke to me and said, Craig, get ready. Get ready. And that just blew my mind. I think I called everybody I knew and told them. I mean, I just could not believe what I just saw. It was Isn't that kind of unbelievable? Rap song. You know, and then I guess about a week later, I was sitting in there and, you know, flipping through the channels again, and, you know, and The Box came on again. And it was a rap video called Nothing But a G Thing. And some of y'all quickening now. Look at your neighbor and say deliverance. Y'all, that's important. That's why I'm here. Look at your neighbor and say, that's why he here. And anyway, this video came on, and some of y'all may not know any of these videos. Y'all may not know any of this. But it's going to be very good for you to know. Because I guarantee you, in some of your houses, I mean, I know some of you are really saved, but in some of your houses, the enemy has used this to get in.